Okay, so we're starting at the karate chop point under the line at the base of the pinky, tapping the side of the hand. Even though I'm so worried about spiritual bypassing, and I'm so scared I'm denying if I'm not focusing on what's wrong. Right now, I just accept myself, and I love myself as I am. Even though I can get so tripped up on the idea of spiritual bypassing. And then I keep focusing on what's wrong to make sure I'm not doing that. I love myself. I approve of myself. I fully accept where I am in this journey. Even though spiritual bypassing throws me for a loop, I accept myself. And I deeply love myself. So we start at the crown. Somewhere my wires got crossed with this whole spiritual bypassing thing. Somehow it became some end-all be-all, some northern star I'm supposed to always navigate by. Inner eyebrow. I don't want to be oppressed by any spiritual concept. Outer eye. I don't want to use any spiritual concept to make myself wrong. And keep breathing when you're not talking as you tap. Under the eye, upper cheekbone. I don't want to use any spiritual concepts to validate hypervigilance. Or to be a bad mother trying to catch myself at it. Bad parent, bad father, bad whatever term. Under the nose. I know my own tendency to want to be in denial of what's hard or painful or scary or disturbing. Chin point. I would really like to extricate the idea of denial tendency from so hyper focus on it to make sure you're not spiritual bypassing. Okay, let's go to the clavicle round. And I often do negatives for a whole round, but I'm already inspired to start to shift. So we're going to do that. It feels off to me to do that hypervigilant thing. Definitely keep breathing when you're not speaking. Side of the ribs. I don't feel aligned with source when I'm in any format of making myself wrong. Crown point. There is something I like about the concept of spiritual bypassing and being aware of that. Inner eyebrow. I also understand the concept of focusing on what feels good, what feels easy and clear, what already feels aligned or balanced or love-filled or joyful. Side of the eye. Right now, I just breathe in how good those things feel. I feel the alignment when I'm in any of that. Under the eye. And right now, I remember that denial doesn't feel like alignment. It doesn't feel like letting in joy and goodness. Under the nose. Denial feels like pushing against. Denial feels contracted. It feels like shutting things out. Denial is full of resistance. Chin point. Spiritual bypassing feels like pretending something isn't there that's still there. Spiritual bypassing feels like denial. Under the clavicle. And with spiritual bypassing, it's like I put on a mask that has a spiritual, beatific, angelic, Zen slant to it. Side of the ribs. And none of that is true alignment. None of that feels like I actually am connected to joy right now. Or I actually trust the flow of life to show me what I need to see. Okay, back to the crown point, and this will be our last round. Spiritual bypassing is really another form of resistance. I can close my eyes and feel into that weird flavor of resistance. That la la dance of peace, love, joy, when there's actually something here that isn't at all peace, love, joy. Inner eyebrow. And the innocent motive of spiritual bypassing is really actually valuing peace, love, joy. The real stuff. The stuff I actually do know, I actually have experienced. Outer eye. The stuff of my true essence. The stuff of my actual alignment. Under the eye. So I am not spiritual bypassing when I name what I know feels off. And maybe even better when I write it down. Under the nose. But I write it down to give it to the spiritual manager, the universal manager. So find your right name for that. I give it to source. I give it to the greater hands, whatever it is. Chin point. And I'm not spiritual bypassing or focusing on what's wrong. When I do an actual process to be with something that feels off. So name some of your processes: inquiry, focus wheels, a coaching or therapy session. What do you do when I sit down and journal it? When I talk to someone wise? Say your things. What are real processes to be with something that you use? Clavicle round. But I'm not preventing spiritual bypassing when I ruminate, when I perseverate, when I keep repeating, when I go over the problem incessantly. I'm just focused on what takes me down the rabbit hole in those moments. Side of the ribs. And when I consciously say, I'm pushing you over to the side now, hard stuff, and I'm going to choose my focus in some realm of life that actually feels good, that reminds me of the beautiful flow of life, that calls me back to the magic, that reestablishes my sense of peace, trust, love, whatever you've got. That's not spiritual bypassing. That's finding my alignment. crown point. And I know that from a place of alignment, when I get it back, I can respond to the tugs, the urges, the guidance to deal with stuff or to take it to a process, or even miracle of miracles to do one lighthearted, easy thing in one of those hard realms. I know what that feels like. I know that's a way to build momentum toward more solutions, answers, action in a flow, not manhandling myself into it and staying with a constant rumination in the name of avoiding spiritual bypassing. Right now, I see the difference. And right now, I know I can get back to that clarity anytime I lose it. And right now, I love myself. And I vow to interrupt rumination. And I vow to reaching for my alignment. And I give myself permission to look away from thorny topics. And I invite my guidance system to call me back if I'm not seeing something or denying something. And it's not going to do that by me worrying about spiritual bypassing. It's going to do that because I keep showing up. And I keep showing up, reaching for alignment. Now drop your hands down when you're done with the crown point, when that feels complete. And just cup one hand inside the other and give yourself to gravity. And feel the beautiful hum and buzz and the reverberations of the tapping. And feel into your calm nervous system, the expanded breath, the alignment and trust that you've gotten to at this point. And when you're ready, come back.